ESPN America, your home for the NFL.
Coming up on NFL Live, now that Pete Carroll's formally introduced as the Seahawks head coach, what does he have to do to be a better NFL head guy the third time around? One of his former players will tell us. In a landslide, Charles Woodson, the Defensive Player of the Year, will tell you why he got so many votes. Plus, we break down the NFC Divisional play, NFL Live, key to your success right now. Well, hi, everybody, and welcome into another edition of NFL Live. So glad you are here with us. Trey Wingo, Tim Hasselbeck, Teddy Bruschi is here. And I got to say, what a perfect pairing of analysts to have on a day when we're talking about Pete Carroll in Seattle, which we'll get to in just a minute. But we have one place in Seattle, but we won't have another one leaving the head coaching ranks of the NFL to replace him. Jack Del Rio staying in Jacksonville. The head coach confirmed that after a Tuesday meeting with owner Wayne Weaver. There were reports that he'd already received a contract offer to replace Pete Carroll at USC, where Del Rio played. However, Jack will be back for an 8th season with the Jags. In his 7 seasons in Jacksonville, Del Rio's Jaguars have reached the playoffs twice in 05 and 07, both times eliminated by the Patriots, but I didn't have to tell Teddy that. In 2005, it was in the wild card round. In 2007, New England knocked off Jacksonville in the AFC Divisional playoffs. For more on this, we welcome in ESPN.com senior NFL writer John Clayton. John, what swung this in Del Rio's favor?
Well, I think in a lot of ways, even though Wayne Weaver doesn't like to admit it, I still think the fact that $15 million owed over 3 years played some part in this. And also, too, Jack did coach well this year. He took a team that won 5 wins last year to 7 wins, and he had as many as 8 rookie starters. But with Jack Del Rio not having an offer from the USC and coming in, certainly would have to lose his job and be fired, you can see where this just wasn't time to part. There was no economic reason to do it. There was no football reason to do it. But there also is going to be an interesting development starting on Tuesday night. They start season ticket campaign. Right now, it's the most important. They lost 17,000 season tickets. We'll see if the fans buy Jack Del Rio coming back.
All right, John, thanks. We'll get back to you in just a little bit. Meanwhile, at 10 o'clock Pacific time, Tuesday morning, Pete Carroll, officially introduced as the 8th head coach in Seahawks history. He walks into a team in transition that's won only 9 games in the last 2 seasons and is coming off a 5-11 campaign.
If there was a difference from when I was in the NFL before to when I was in the NFL now, is I think that the experience that I had then, the experience that I had in college football, to see what it's like to be to run a program and to come here with the freedom that we're going to have, that we're going to share here, the collaboration that we will present to you as leading this organization, is exactly what I was looking for, exactly what I needed, I think, to be the very best I can offer the Seattle Seahawks. So with that, this is an extraordinary time. And I hope that you can sense the excitement that I feel about this opportunity. I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be difficult. And people from where I come from want to say, well, gosh, why would you do that when you win all the time in college football and here you're going into the meat grinder of the NFL? I'm ready. I couldn't be more prepared for it. I couldn't be more excited about it. And I can't wait to get started. And I know we have to go through the press conference, but I can't wait to get upstairs and start looking at film and getting this thing rolling.
Well, if wins were measured by energy at press conferences, Pete Carroll's a winner. Coached a total of 4 seasons in the NFL, 1 with the Jets and 3 with the Patriots. He was 33-31 in those 4 seasons, making the playoff twice. Compare that to the 97-19 record he had in 9 seasons at USC with 2 national championships and 7 straight Pac-10 titles. All right, Teddy, in your early days as a Patriot,
yes,
Pete Carroll was your head coach, sandwiched, unfortunately for him, by comparison, in between the Bills, Parcells, and then Belichick after him. What do you remember from him back then, and what does he need to do differently this time around?
I think Pete Carroll summed it up in his opening comments in his press conference when he said, "I'm fired up." And that's who Pete Carroll is. He's going to bring endless energy to this. He is going to bring emotion. He is going to bring enthusiasm. I think he was in a bad situation in New England because he followed Bill Parcells, and he followed Bill Parcells after a Super Bowl appearance. There are some players on that team, whether they be old or young, that couldn't really agree with what Pete was doing because you had the old school style of Bill Parcells. Then all of a sudden, this West Coast guy comes in with all this energy, and it's like, man, I don't think I'm really used to this, and they didn't buy in. But Pete Carroll is a great fit for the Seattle Seahawks the Seahawks team. I think that energy he brings is key to their success.
Well, one of the things besides energy he's going to have to deal with is the quarterback situation. Your brother Matthew is 34, got 1 year left on his contract. What is he hearing about his future in Seattle with Pete Carroll?
Well, I think he's excited about his future in Seattle under Coach Carroll, and basically I've talked to him about conversations he's had with Coach Carroll, and he reached out to him right after he got the job, and then they spoke the next morning, and Pete Carroll basically assured him that he believes that he's got good football ahead of him, and that my brother is part of the plan there in Seattle. And if you look at the staff that Pete Carroll is going to assemble on the offensive side of the ball, Jeremy Bates is the offensive coordinator, Alex Gibbs is the offensive line coach. They'll be running a system that they ran under Mike Shanahan in Denver, which is part of that West Coast system that Mike Holmgren was a part of. And that is something that my brother is very familiar with, very comfortable running, and I think it'll suit his skill set. So it's something he's excited about being a part of.
And let's be clear, we expect to hear about these things first. Okay, no pressure.
Yeah, listen, I'm on it.
We expect to hear first from a Hasselbeck
It's a
about what's
Twitter
going
Tuesday.
on
I'm sure he'll
with
send one
a
in.
Hasselbeck. Okay, aside from quarterback, what does Pete Carroll have to do to turn this thing around? Because, look, they went through 5 straight years in the postseason, and now they've missed them 2 straight years.
Well, I think first he needs to realize the mistakes he made when he was a head coach in New England. I think one of the mistakes he made was he trusted the players a little too much, and he learned towards the end that the last year he was there, he went 8-8, and towards the end, I thought he started to figure it out to where if he had one more year, I thought he might have turned it around. That sometimes you need to be a disciplinarian, and all of the energy and all the emotion and being a player's coach is one thing, but in the pros, there are a lot different players in the pros than in college. There are different mentalities you have to deal with, and also Pete Carroll has the freedom. He said freedom that he finally he wanted and he coveted. Well, he's got it to make these personnel decisions. Now, these decisions that he makes, the coaches, the special teams coaches, the offensive coordinators and coaches, these are good decisions that he's going to have to make himself.
Yeah, and that's why it's important who he hires. I also think it's important to realize that things have changed. I mean, 13 years ago, he's been away from the pro game for a long time, but I'm sure that he's matured and grown as a coach like anyone does. 13 years ago, you couldn't text message. A lot has changed. I'm sure he's changed as a coach. And so I think as you come in to a new system and new guys and you have total control, you're able to put that vision on the entire organization and that football team. And I think that's why he was so excited, because it's going to be his vision. It's not going to be someone else in the front office's vision for the players, and then Pete's just got to coach him up.
Yeah, and then, of course, the other issue is the mental adjustment he's got to make. You lose 4 games at USC, it's a disaster. You lose 5 games, you're having a great season in the NFL. It is a mental change for people making that jump. Okay, so as for who is going to be the GM with Pete Carroll in Seattle, for that we go back to ESPN.com senior NFL writer John Clayton. John, where does this stand right now with this search?
Well, the process just started on Tuesday when Omar Khan from the Pittsburgh Steelers came in for an interview. John Snyder of the Packers comes in on Wednesday. Then it'll be Mark Ross of the New York Giants, who's a college director there. And then Floyd Reese, formerly of ESPN and the Tennessee Titans, currently with New England, will come in. And they may expand it after that. But you can pretty much see they're looking to find somebody who can have a shared vision with Pete Carroll, because Pete still, even though he's going to share the power as far as picking the players, has a big impact and a big input in who's going to get this job.
All right, let's stay on the West Coast. Then there's the head coach situation in Oakland. Is Tom Cable going to come back in 2010, John? What are you hearing?
Well, right now I think Al Davis is a little undecided, because on Monday and Tuesday he didn't show up at the office, and it looks like Wednesday may be the meeting day, and certainly he's still churning through the idea. Do you keep Tom or do you not keep Tom? Obviously the big disagreement is on Jamarcus Russell. Tom's not in Russell's corner. Al Davis is. If they can't resolve that, then Tom Cable is gone. I know that certainly Al has been looking around at other people. Steve Mariucci's name is a person that he's looking at too. But at least for another day, Tom Cable stays as the Raiders. We'll see if that stays that way on Wednesday.
Okay, John, just so we got this nailed down, either Wednesday will be the day or it won't be.
Is if Al shows up. Remember, yes, we're on Al's time.
It is
we're always on Al's time.
We are on Al's time. All right, John, thanks very much. Meanwhile, congrats to Packer corner Charles Woodson, a runaway winner as the defensive player of the year. Woodson tied for the league with 9 interceptions, returned 3 to the house, and he was a huge part of that Packers defense, finishing 2nd overall and 1st in the NFL in total picks. What might have been shocking was that Woodson got twice as many votes as Jets shutdown corner Darrelle Revis. Elvis Dumervil, who led the NFL in sacks with 17, and Darren Sharper, who shared the league in interceptions with Woodson, finished in a tie for 3rd, followed by Jared Allen, who had 14.5 sacks, 2nd most in the league. Our first Twitter Tuesday question comes to us from Pride of Cucamonga. Awesome. He wants to know, who would you rather have on your team, Charles Woodson or Darrelle Revis? Guys, again, we should put out, there's no wrong answer here. There is no wrong answer, but if you had to pick one, who would it be?
Well, I'd pick Darrelle Revis because he's a younger player. I think the upside really is there for Darrelle Revis. When you look at him and what he did against dominant #1 wide receivers in the National Football League this year, he was absolutely outstanding. And remember, again, this is a very young football player in the first year of a new defense under Rex Ryan. I really believe the sky is the limit for this guy, and going forward, I think it'd be hard-pressed to find any defender at any position that's going to be better than Darrelle Revis going forward.
Yeah, and I'll take Woodson. I'll take Woodson because you're right. You can't go wrong with these two guys. They're just so special. But I like Woodson's all-around game. 9 interceptions with 3 returned for touchdowns, but 4 forced fumbles and 2 sacks. He's a great tackler, as you see right there. He wraps up well, one of the better tackling cornerbacks in the league. You know, getting up there in age a little bit. He's not the younger one like Revis is, but he can still make plays and he can still change games. I think either way, I don't think he's twice as good as Revis in terms of the votes, in terms of 2 to 1, but it's well deserving.
Yeah, listen, you could make the argument maybe Revis perhaps was the better shutdown corner all season long, but in terms of making plays all year long, with the ones he took back to the house and the forced fumbles, Woodson did that certainly better than anybody this year in the NFL. But again, no wrong answer. Lots more coming on this edition of NFL Live. Yeah, now you can start the music. We look ahead to the divisional round. Who has the most to prove in Act 2 of the NFL playoffs? And we've already given you a taste of Twitter Tuesday. One viewer wants to know if Joe Flacco and the Ravens can overcome the Colts' pass rush. We've got that plus much more. Stay with us.
Sign up to the ESPN America newsletter and be the first to know all about the best matchups for the month ahead. Get the latest news from the players and the teams who are making the headlines.
He swings and hits one.
Be the first to view the exclusive offers from our online shop and win lots of prizes in our exclusive competitions and promotions. All from the only channel dedicated to North American sports. Visit ESPNAmerica.com for more details and scheduling information.
Starward Preferred Guest presents a spectacular winter promotion offering up to 40% off at participating hotels across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East when paying with your MasterCard. Enjoy your stay at Sheraton, 4 Points by Sheraton, W, Aloft, Le Méridien, Westin, the Luxury Collection, and St. Regis. Book now and pay with your MasterCard. More details on spg.com/MasterCardTV.
Manning trying to go quickly. The throw downfield is for Reggie. He's got it 40. Touchdown. Manning looks, pumps, throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Marvin Harrison. Peyton on first down. They air it out deep, intended for Reggie Wayne. Reggie's got it. That was a perfect throw. Manning takes the snap, sets up, throws downfield, open is a dive. Touchdown, Joseph Adai.
NFL on ESPN America.
You wonder how I practice keeping both feet down? Go. Still wondering?
Oh, didn't see you come in. I'm Tony Reale from Around the Horn, and you're watching ESPN America, American for Sports. Sport!
Well, Cowboys running back Marion Barber not practicing Wednesday as the team tries to give him some extra rest to deal with that swollen bursa sac in his left knee. Happened in the wild card round win over Philly. Head coach Wade Phillips says they believe he'll be able to play Sunday when they're in Minnesota. Cowboys road to Miami takes its next step. Now, if you're a historian, you'll like this because the last time the Cowboys and Vikings faced off in an NFC divisional playoff game, it was the Hail Mary game in 1975. Roger Staubach to Drew Pearson. Dallas went on to the Super Bowl that season. Oh, by the way, which was also in Miami. Of course, that play remembered much more fondly in Dallas than in Minnesota. Almost in every time the Cowboys play the Vikings in Minnesota since then, they hold a sign up in the Metrodome that says Drew push Nate, meaning Nate Wright, the old cornerback for the Vikings. But he's not playing anymore, neither is Drew Pearson. But Miles Austin is. And you could say he answered a Hail Mary from the Cowboys this season by becoming that big play wide receiver, even though he didn't start until the 5th game of the year. What is it about the way he gets his big plays, Tim, that really helps this offense?
Well, the thing that really jumps out at me is that they're not throwing the ball way down the field to Miles Austin to get the big plays. They're able to throw short passes to him and get the big plays. Here we're going to see in the red zone just a wide receiver screen against the blitz. 2 middle linebackers are coming. Will Witherspoon's going to run out to cover Phillips, the tight end. He's going to bring him with him, which is going to take 2. Mark Colombo can get up on the safety, and Miles Austin basically walks. Now they're formationing plays for him, motioning Patrick Trayton out to get Sheldon Brown off him and get Joselio Hansen matched up on Miles Austin. Miles Austin just going to absolutely abuse him, get him spun around, and then look at the separation to have run after the catch. And then again on a 3rd down, Jason Witten to the flat will pull the safety. That's going to open up a window on the slant. Look at the separation against Sheldon Brown. Major run after the catch opportunities because he's winning so quickly at the line of scrimmage.
590 yards after catch for Miles Austin, 3rd best in the league. He didn't start until their 5th game of the year. Okay, so Teddy, the next question is, how does Miles Austin, and for that matter the rest of that receiving core, match up against the Viking corners, which were exposed a little bit down the end of the season?
Yeah, they match up very well against this secondary group because this is a group that has had their problems against receivers in the past. Receivers having big days versus them. Antoine Winfield's had a foot injury. Here you see Larry Fitzgerald in this game, 8 catches, 143 yards. Steve Smith, another deep threat, a viable receiver, running right by Antoine Winfield. Is the foot bothering him or not? 9 for 157. And here we have Devin helping with this trade.
Aroma should do what you do, baby.
And he had done what he did because he caught 7 balls for 150 yards. These receivers have had great success versus this Minnesota secondary, and they have to play a lot better because Miles Austin, one of the hottest receivers in the league, is coming into town.
Yeah, they're going the opposite way at the wrong time for the Vikings. The Cowboys passing game on the rise, Vikings defense going south. For the season, Vikings had the 19th best pass defense, and the Cowboys had the 6th best passing offense. Now on ESPNDallas.com, Calvin Watkins writes, with the Cowboys' other 2 running backs banged up, Felix Jones is the Cowboys' best option. Give him the rock. As for the other NFC divisional round, wideout Anquan Boldin didn't play in the Cardinals' overtime win over the Packers on Sunday, dealing with a sprained left ankle and knee he had in the regular season finale against the Packers. Cards are optimistic he'll be able to play against the Saints, but won't know for sure until later on in the week. Look, only the Colts, Chargers, and Saints had a better road record than the 6-2 mark of the Cardinals, each of those teams going 7-1. New Orleans trying to become the first #1 seed to reach the NFC title game since the Bears in 2006. And who did Chicago beat that season? That would be the Saints. All right, Teddy, we saw what Kurt Warner and company did to that Packers defense with the Defensive Player of the Year and the #2 overall seed in the wild card game. How do they match up against this Saints defense now?
Well, this Saints defense statistically is not very impressive. They're sort of the bottom half of the league in all major defensive categories, but the one thing they do better than any team in the league, and that's make big plays. They've made strip sacks, they've scored 8 defensive touchdowns this year to lead the league. Here you see Darren Sharper making a great play early on in the season. And this team feeds off of these plays. The offense feeds off of these plays, and that's when they get their momentum going. 26 interceptions. Sharper was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year for a long time this year, but just sort of faded in the end. So they have to make these big plays because Kurt Warner is one of, right now, he's on a run. You can almost call him one of the greatest playoff quarterbacks in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. You're talking about the big plays the Saints defense comes up with. Really, when you look at Kurt Warner, one of the things he does so well is he gets the ball out of his hand quickly when he's faced with the blitz. And, it's something that I don't know if it started in the arena days, but when he is in the shotgun, he has an ability to catch that ball, find it, get a grip on it, and put it accurately in his receiver's hands so they can go make a play. And when you look at how the Saints have generated big plays for that football team, it's by bringing pressure, bringing secondary blitzes, and getting to the quarterback. I think Kurt Warner really has a great opportunity to have another huge game because of his ability to get the ball out of his hands quickly versus that secondary pressure.
Yeah, listen, Kurt Warner on Sunday had one more touchdown throw than incompletions. 5 touchdown passes and 29 of 33. Tomorrow we'll take a closer look at the AFC divisional matchup. But when we continue, how can I say this best? You are about to see LT as you've never seen him
Get busy.
before. Plus, it is another edition of Twitter Tuesday, and there are many questions about what to expect in the next round from Baltimore.
Watch the very best live sports action online with the new and improved espn360.com. Get access to over 1,000 NHL games,
What a shot!
including the playoffs and the 2010 Stanley Cup Finals.
Through the traffic, scores!
Get the best NCAA action, including over 300 college football games.
Are you kidding me?
And 300 college basketball games, all live and on demand. Simply choose a package that suits you. To watch the NHL or college sports online this season, simply go to www.espn360.com.
That's as explosive as I've seen DeMarcus Ware. Wow. And you've seen him explosive before. Ware has come and got him. It's been a marathon for DeMarcus Ware, and he finally got there. Flushed out. Ware chasing. Ware grabbing. Ware sacking. Ware's coming, and Ware's got it. Ware's got it. 3 today. Hit, buried, gobbled up by DeMarcus Ware.
NFL on ESPN America.
When rain descends on an NFL game, it usually means it's time to run the ball.
30 runs for a first down, 40, he may go!
But with the right set of hands, the pass can still be dangerous. Even in the coldest weather, the best can still get hot.
Back to pass. Long throw down the field, and Owens is open. Touchdown.
In the NFL, sometimes the stars can run between the raindrops.
Well, it really is one of the great days of the week.
Surely.
Twitter Tuesday.
Here we go.
Where we get in touch with our followers on Twitter, NFL Live on ESPN. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go. First question comes to us from Isaiah R., who wants to know, and this is for Teddy, what acquisitions either in the draft or free agency do you feel the Patriots have to make to regain their edge, Teddy B?
I think the main thing is a pass rusher. Tully Banakane led the team with 10 sacks, but you always need that complimentary rusher to get that opposing quarterback on edge.
Yeah, we certainly see that now with Anthony Spencer for DeMarcus Ware in Dallas. Benjamin Diesel writes, Tim, do you think Joe Flacco will be able to overcome that tough pass rush of Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis and that secondary? He also adds his opinion. I think not.
Well, you know, I really believe that if the Baltimore Ravens can establish the run and not give up the big play on defense so they're not behind in known passing downs, I think Joe Flacco can play much better than he did against New England.
Odds are they won't win their next game if he goes 4 of 10 for 34 yards.
Good chance of that, yeah.
Cowboys fan site for Teddy. Who will have more rushing yards, Peterson or the Cowboys' three-headed monster?
I'll go with the Cowboys' three-headed monster, though you never know where they're going to threaten you in the running game. And that offensive line, Leonard Davis is very, very physical. I like that player.
All right, we stay on this game. It's a popular game with our Twitter followers. El Furioso Sposo.
Furioso.
Or something like. Thank you. Yeah. You were much better than me there.
Very good.
Hey, guys, meaning Tim, do you think the Dallas Cowboys are content with their season or in danger of taking the foot off the gas at all?
No, I think this team has so much momentum right now, and every player, even if you're a young player, you get the sense of how hard it is to get to that point, especially those players that have been in Dallas for a couple of years. I think they're going to try to ride this momentum as far as they can go, as far as it will take them.
The last time the Cowboys had a chance to do this was 1996, so I think they understand these things come along pretty rarely. When we continue on NFL Live, speaking of rare, you are about to see LT in rare form.
When rain descends on an NFL game, it usually means it's time to run the ball.
30 runs for a first down, 40, he may go!
But with the right set of hands, the pass can still be dangerous. Even in the coldest weather, the best can still get hot.
Back to pass. Long throw down the field, and Owens is open. Touchdown.
In the NFL, sometimes the stars can run between the raindrops.
His first professional pass is a 62-yard strike to Michael Jenkins. They don't script this stuff in Hollywood, Arch. A laser shot from Matt Ryan. It's a bootleg on 4th and 3 inches. Caught! Touchdown! Sails it downfield. Roddy White's there. It's caught! 10-5. Touchdown Atlanta.
NFL on ESPN America.
Need to find tickets for the big game or concert? At SeatWave.com, there are over 1 million tickets on sale now for all the latest live entertainment. And with all tickets 100% guaranteed, you'll find just the tickets you're after so you can catch all the action live. Buy and sell tickets at SeatWave.com for the Super Bowl, Six Nations Rugby, Bon Jovi in concert, and many, many more. SeatWave.com, the fan-to-fan ticket exchange.
Every game, every play, I chip away. With every collision, every blow, every chop, their will gets closer to breaking.
He's sacked! It's Jared Allen! Jared Allen!
Every play in every game is like chipping away. You never know which play is going to be the play that changes the game. You want to win on every play, but you're not going to win on every play. So you got to know how to set those losses up so you can't be successful. Getting to the quarterback's a lot similar. You got to chip away. I use my hands a lot. That's my weapon. Whether I'm chopping a guy's hand down, pinning an elbow, flipping a hip, speed rush, speed rush, speed. I might break the rhythm with an inside rush. That I want to absolutely hurt the guy across from me. When you beat an offensive tackle, there's no greater feeling. You can get in that guy's head, you're kicking the crap out of him, his play is going to suffer for that. You see the backside of that quarterback, and he has no idea you're about to smack him in the back of his head. Everything kind of slows down. You just tee off as hard as you can. It usually sounds something like, you know, all their air's coming out. You could beat somebody up and not get in trouble for it. You just got to keep chopping wood. You're not going to split that log with every single chop. But every single chop, you're getting closer to the end result.
And that one belongs to the calf roping specialist, Jared Allen.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. And I'm Tony Kornheiser. We are the crass American hosts of PTI, and we demand that you watch us on ESPN America. Every day we bicker about the major American sports issues of the day. Are we getting any extra pay for this? No. So why exactly are we doing it? To bring the world a little closer together. I prefer cash, thank you. Catch PTI on ESPN America. I'm not saying another word until we get paid.
PTI.
You know, when you look at his career, LaDainian Tomlinson has done it all on the football field, except get to a Super Bowl. Sunday, he takes his first step in that direction. But in his 9-year career that has amassed over 12,000 rushing yards, over 150 touchdowns, passing and receiving and running, he's really done everything you could do. He's made all the right moves. But does that translate into music video? You be the judge.
Get ready to play the game. Every Sunday, yo, it's all the same. I do my dance. I get it, my stance. I read the defense, I read the defense, I read the defense, I read the defense. Now sidestep, 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 sidestep. Now catch that pass.
Catch that pass.
Catch that pass.
Catching that pass.
Now throw the ball.
Throw that thing.
Now celebrate.
Hey, mama.
Wave to your mom.
Wave to your mom.
She's in the stands.
Look at your wife.
See your uncle.
Look at that wife.
Do your thing.
Say hi to your wife.
Electric glove. Electric glove. Here we go.
Oh.
Cut.
I cut it back. I cut it back. I cut it back now, y'all.
Now step on the guys.
Step on the guys. Step on the guys.
Hit that hole.
Hit the hole. Hit that hole. Now hit the hole.
Let's see a touchdown dance.
Do your little dance. Shake your little hips. Ha 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 ha.
Celebrate.
Woo! Wave to your mama. She's in the crowd.
Now challenge that call.
That's not a call. No.
You don't like that call.
I don't like that call. Not a very good call.
Celebrate. Thoughts?
Who's the guy hitting the hole? Did you see the guy hitting the hole?
I think that was his uncle earlier in the
I thought I was breaking it down pretty good there, too.
You did a good job, Teddy.
I might be more concerned with the white suit than the dancing.
Yeah. 4 words. Dancing with the Stars?
He's all over it.
Yeah, it's possible. We love you, Crew. See ya.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony Conan O'Brien says he's not